What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Black Genesis, and this is Podcast 1001. Here for another episode. Super excited about today. We have in the building a friend of mine, business, shit, I don't know if I want to say mogul, shit, probably mogul. Actually, I'm just going to introduce him. Give it up for Kenyon 8, everybody.
That's so funny. Thank you for having me on.
I'm happy that you're here. So you are the owner, or one of 3 owners of the Network Studios. For those of you who don't know, this is where we record our magic for Podcast 1001 here at the Network Studios in Culver City. So I wanted to just interview you about business, Black business, your mindset. The girls have questions. The girls and the guys. But the people have questions. And I have, up until I met you, been in the presence of a lot of business-minded Black people. But very seldom do people have the execution to back it up, right? And so when I heard about the Network Studios on the Tammy Mack show on KJLH.
Shout out to Tammy Mack.
Shout out to Tammy Mack. I was like, oh, I got to check it out. And the reason I wanted to check it out was not only because it was Black owned, but it was Black owned. It's in California, where I'm from. And it is ran by 3 African American men. And a lot of times when we do think about business, business owners in our community, a lot of them are Black women, not Black men. And then at that 3 Black men, so there's like, I don't know, there's so much to that. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of that because why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? So,
and I'm glad that you did.
Yeah. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. Before I jump into my first question, though, I want to know about all the business that Kenyon 8 has.
So the Network Studios, as you mentioned, it's actually 4 partners.
Oh, okay.
The 4th one is more of like a silent partner. But
he got the money.
Well, we all have the money.
Okay.
But Tyrone Dubois, Les James, and Jalen Daniels.
Okay.
Jalen being the 4th one. He's actually starting quarterback at the University of Kansas.
Wow.
NIL athlete, but he is the son of Tyrone, the godson of Les. So I'd done previous business with Les before, and when the opportunity came to acquire this business, I reached out to him because we're a part of a few different consortium groups. So I've been blessed to have relationships and acquaintances with several Black men that are doing well for themselves and are, focused on business and looking for opportunities and such. And so that's kind of how that unit came together. But I think in terms of the Network Studio, so when we acquired the business, it was just, and still is, a service provider, turnkey podcast recording studio. We've got 3 different rooms, and it's basically a place where people can come to record their content. We also do post-production editing services. But I knew when the opportunity was presented to acquire the business that this could be so much more. I was previously a client for 5 years here at the Network Studios. And so in addition to being a service provider, we also are an original content production house. So we produce content across all mediums, television, film, and podcast. But then in addition to that, I started a nonprofit arm of the Network Studios. It's called the New Sound Initiative, where we are actively creating programming for middle and high school students, teaching them all things around new media. So podcast exists, the industry itself is new media, which, I think for us, we call it new media, but it's really just media.
Right.
New media is just basically content that is disseminated over the internet. Yeah. So when you think about like early days vlogging, and then social media, AR, VR, I would say podcasting is sort of the central discipline
Yeah.
that has elements of all of those other new media
Yes.
forms and is becoming the most popular
Right.
branch of the new media arm.
Why do you think that is?
Um, I think that the barrier of entry is low,
Mm-hmm.
right? So quite literally, if you want to start a podcast,
You can.
you can. You
Yeah.
just need, a way to capture yourself on video, good sound, good mic,
Yeah.
and then taking that file and then exporting it, which, as we know, podcast is the audio form of
Yeah.
this. But because we are in a digitized society led by technology and everything is visual, video podcasting is very quickly become the norm.
Yeah.
And it makes sense just because
Yeah.
how are you going to promote your
Right.
podcast? So I have clients here that they are podcast only,
Mm-hmm.
but still record a video component because then they take those clips to then promote
Yeah.
their podcasts. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just important. Anything that I do, I'm always going to want to be connected to my community. I always
Right.
want to have an element of service.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really the impetus for adding the nonprofit arm. Anything that I can put in the hands of young people so that they have an opportunity to position themselves for success is going to be something that's always important to me.
Yes.
And this is something that is highly relevant to
Yeah.
them. I think just when we look at education, um, in general, I think there's a little bit of a struggle because, in a lot of ways, especially in this country, we're still trying to provide education to our young people,
Mm-hmm.
but in a way that is outdated,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so, what better way to incentivize learning, higher learning, success than to use mediums that are very relevant to their existence? So, all young people know about social media.
Mm-hmm.
They know about going viral. They know about new media, whether they
Mm-hmm.
know it's new media or not.
Right.
So the idea behind the New Sound Initiative is really just to give them the tools, to teach them how to create content responsibly,
Mm-hmm.
and also showcase how the many opportunities that exist within this form. And so, with the nonprofit, with us being an original production house, and with us being a service provider, the ultimate plan and what we are going to do is we're going to franchise this and put this in different markets across the country so that everywhere that we go, we're not only being a service provider for creatives, for business people, for people that have things to say, but we're also serving the communities as well through our nonprofit arm.
That was pretty good. You rehearsed that?
Absolutely not.
No, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Man, you guys have something here. You guys just
Appreciate
really
that.
have something here. I when you walk into the network studios, you feel it. It's very different. It's a feeling. I can't, stress that enough. I don't think it was a coincidence that I heard you guys on the radio, called you like, "Hey, gonna come check it out." Came and checked it out, and literally the next month I was here recording.
Mm.
So yeah, super duper happy about what you created here, and also your nonprofit. You are doing the work of the Lord by servicing our youth, because not to sound corny, but they're the future.
They are the present, and
Yeah.
that's the reality of it, right?
Yes.
Is that they're already doing things in the new media space, whether they're doing it from a creative standpoint or whether they're just absorbing it. So why not give them the tools?
Yeah.
And so been blessed to forge. We're up to, I think, 6 partners now, partnerships. What I mean by that is these are schools or other nonprofit organizations that allow me to actually work with young people.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so it's not just about the future. And that's one of the things I actually tell them, right? Is that usually when someone like me comes and talks to you or offers some sort of programming, I'm telling you what I do or I'm showing you what I do, and it's presented to you in a way where, like, when you get older,
Yeah, as if it's unattainable at
as
this
if it's
moment.
unattainable at this moment. But the reality is the things
It's
that I'm
not.
showing you right now, you could actually go and apply
Wow.
right now
Yeah.
and create real success for yourself.
Yeah.
And so why not give you that opportunity? So
Okay, let's get in your business. How did your background and upbringing influence your business journey?
how did my background and my upbringing influence my business
Yeah.
journey? Well, I would say that it's funny because I literally just said this to you off camera, but One of the things that I credit my mother with doing and how she raised my sister and I was she raised us up under the fear and the admonition of the Lord.
Yeah.
And when you develop a relationship with God, um, one of the things that can come from that is a sense of purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
And the buzzword has been for some time in our culture right now, living with intention. But the reality is that's been a buzzword in the kingdom for a long time, and wasn't called intention, but living with purpose and understanding that for each of us, God definitely has a plan and purpose for
Yes.
us. And for those who are surrendered to Him, there are assignments
Mm-hmm.
that we are given that
Mm-hmm.
allow us to function and flow
Mm-hmm.
in the earth. And so from the age of 8 years old, I always understood that I was put on here to make a difference, to actually impact people's lives on a global scale.
Yes.
And
I heard that.
along that journey, I thought that it would look like different things at different points. For a long time, I thought I was gonna, go into politics.
Really?
Then yeah, and then I discovered nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about the most significant movements that have happened in this country, at the origin or at the genesis of a lot of those movements was 501(c)(3s, and so then
Mm-hmm.
that's what piqued my
Mm-hmm.
interest in getting into that. Um,
A lot of people don't know that, actually.
this pathway into where I am now, like podcasting, new media, sort of, found me again. Um, Not necessarily knowing like every step along the way, but just knowing like, yo, I'm here for a reason. That reason is to actually positively impact and influence people's life.
Mm-hmm.
Just staying open and surrendered to that is what sort of led me to where I am right now. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you look at just what I've explained to you, what I do on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
whether it's through the studio, through the brand, the network studios,
Yeah.
or through the nonprofit, I'm doing those things.
Yeah.
And there's even so much more to come with that.
Yes.
So when you
Yes.
ask the question of, how did my upbringing sort of steer me, or steer the business side of me, it just started with just understanding that God had purpose for my life.
Mm, mm, mm. That's deep. What mindset shifts did you have to make before taking the leap into business? Like, is there anything that you had to reroute in your brain? Like, okay, this is what we're moving into.
No, I would say the way I would probably think of that or respond to that is to say that every day is a journey,
Right.
right? And so I needed to have every single experience leading up to the moment that we acquired this business
Mm-hmm.
to prepare me to run this business and to grow this business. So not necessarily a specific mindset shift, um, but just continuing to just like journey with God
Yeah.
really is really what it's about, and what it's been about for me. I think that um, the requisite sort of skills and mindset, if you will, um, are things that whether you decide to go into business or if you want to, just have a job, or if you want to be a creative, or if you want to be a parent, or if you want to be a good partner, the keys to success are all the same.
Yeah.
It's just about understanding what it is that you have the grace for
Mm.
and doing what you are supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But I think that, the mentality that is needed, it's all the same. And then in terms of, yeah, actual like fundamental business skills, yes, I mean, either you have practitioner experience or you get an
Right.
education for it. But I know plenty of people that have graduated from business school, plenty of people that have worked in businesses
Yeah.
and started plenty of businesses that are terrible people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and if your personal development is not on par with your professional development,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not going to have success.
Yeah. Wow. You should think about being a pastor too. I'd come to your church.
That's
That's a
funny.
little off-camera key. Okay.
That's funny.
How do you stay motivated when things don't go as planned? I want to just, before you answer that, I I have been having my online business for years. I don't know
Okay.
if you know that. I've been having my online business for years. And I have had so many unmotivated moments
Mm.
because when you're putting in so much time, so much effort, so much money,
Yeah.
and then you're not seeing
The results.
results, it makes you think, well, no, I'm not going to continue to do this because at the end of the day, I have to live. I have to have my peace of mind. I have to have my sanity. I have to get it out. And I know just from coming here, utilizing your space, you to me seem very motivated. You to me seem like, you know, and I don't know you like super personally, but like when shit, I'm just guessing, hit the fan, you just pivot.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that is a skill. So how do you stay motivated? What do you?
So motivation is about how one feels, and um, motivation could be a way that I feel, but it is not who I am. Who I am is discipline. And I think that's got to be the difference, right? Because discipline is what allows you to pivot. Discipline is what allows you to navigate when things don't go your way. If you're just relying on motivation, then absolutely it stands to reason that if it's not the first time something doesn't go your way, if it's the second time, it's the fifth time, if it's the 10th time, but at some point you're going to quit or you're going to stop. So it can't be about how you feel. It's got to be about who are you, what is in you, right?
Yeah.
Your character. And so I think for me, discipline is something that helps a lot. And I would say specific to this business, it's making the choice. And I would say that this isn't something that originated with us, right? This is something that I can say has always been a standard of the network studios, and that is the notion of customer service.
Yeah.
That we are serving the customer, right? And so if you take that position in business, that the most important part of the equation is the customer or the person that you are serving, then it really doesn't give you the luxury to live or move off of how you feel, because there's somebody else that is looking for you to provide a service, which is why you have value. And so
that's good.
And so that's what's got to allow you to sort of push through. And so having the discipline to say, you know what, it is important that the network studios is seen or is recognized for the level of care that it delivers to every person that comes through these doors, every entity, every IP that records in our space. I think that is the thing that allows you to navigate through, because yes, challenges come, adversity comes. For sure, in the creative space, there's a lot of things that don't go your way. Cameras may go out unexpectedly. The audio may go out unexpectedly.
That should been not happening on
It's not. Your clients, people that come in to record may not necessarily be up to snuff. They may not put out a good product, right? Like there's a myriad of things that can go wrong, especially in this space. But at the end of the day, the discipline of wanting to provide a good experience, of actually taking ownership of every single client that comes in here. I said we are an original production house. But the truth of the matter is that every single thing that is recorded in here, whether it is something that is originally produced by the network studios, or if it's an entity that is just coming in to utilize the space, we are in fact producers of that.
Right.
So there has to be a level of care and investment, right? So those things, that perspective, I think it precludes one really, if you want to be successful, it precludes you from just trying to exist professionally based off of motivation. It's got to be about something deeper, and it starts with who you are.
I know this is a podcast for them, but damn it if I ain't learning. I have always, since I was a little girl, been so open to sitting up under my elders. And I'm not saying elder as if you an old nigga. I'm not saying you an old nigga. I'm saying, like, I like to hear what the people older than me have to say about said things, especially if it's something that
I don't
they
think
have
anybody that's watching this right now or listening to this believes that I'm older than you. I'm just saying.
He is. I am a young tenderoni. Please believe it.
If you're a young tenderoni, what does that make me?
A young tenderoni.
There it is. I'm just messing with you.
But no, seriously, I am just soaking up what you're saying because I was having a conversation with a friend recently about the mindset. So I put this question on here.
Yeah.
The mindset sets of business owners.
Yeah.
And people who have really successful, not just business owners, but people who have really successful business owners. And I was like, I don't know if this should be accounted for, but I do recognize that a lot of successful business owners are faith-based people. They all give reverence to God. I watch a lot of John, what's my guy name? John Hope, John Bryant. Not John Hope, John Bryant. He has the Hope Foundation.
Yes.
And he spit a lot of stuff that I eat up. He do a lot of carrying on that I love about financial freedom and how to get your finances right. I'm into that kind of stuff. And he's always talking about how God this and God that. And to hear you talk about, you know, how you have to be on a journey with God and, you know, sincere about your purpose and it really speaks to me about motivation and how you said discipline kind of needs to outweigh your motivation, because a lot of us in the kingdom, faith believers who believe in God and feel like, you know, we got a purpose and we got to do this, we got to do that. We are so led by our emotions. And I just know a number of people in my own personal life who have great ideas for businesses. It ain't just me, you know, it ain't just my husband. It ain't just, it's a lot of people that I've come across so many great ideas and I've seen so many startups. And then it's like, oh, well, this isn't working. And I've been a victim of it myself. But you know, I always come back and be like, nah, I got to get this going because But just you speaking on how imperative it is to be disciplined, that is what sets you apart from really knowing you have a purpose and believing in your purpose, because we all know what our purpose is. A lot of us know what our purpose is, but it's like if you don't really believe in it, your discipline is gonna show.
Yeah,
it's gonna show in your discipline.
Commitment. So commitment is doing the thing that you said you would do long after the mood in which you said it in has passed. And so if we were to really be honest about different things and why things happen or why they don't happen, I would venture to say commitment is probably a good place to start.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's always good to, you know, it always feels good, and we're always motivated and inspired when it's like, oh, you have this epiphany and you talk to a few of your friends or loved ones about it, right?
Yeah.
And then they're cheering you on and they're rooting you on, but then it begins the process of the work. I'll use this space as an example, and I think I've told you this when you first saw this space. So again, we have 2 different rooms that are primarily used for video podcasting. One of the rooms I intentionally redesigned so that it could be a customizable set design room, right? Giving people the opportunity to design the room however they see fit. They could put stuff on the walls. They could use different color arrangements. They could bring in their furniture. And it's so funny because when prospective clients come in, they see that option, they see this room, and they get really excited about it. Then I show them the room where we don't really allow for much change. Just kind of the room is kind of set how it is. And it's a nice look, but it's a homogenous look, right? It's going to be the look that everybody has, right? And without fail, they're excited about the customizable set design room. But when they walk out of the studio and from the time that they walk back in because they're ready to like start actually doing work here and becoming a client, and I ask them, I'll say, okay, so which room do you want to use? 95% of them go, oh, I'll just use Slauson, which is the standard room, the room with the 3 monitors that looks like everybody else's room, because they don't want to do the work.
Yeah, right.
And the reality is that I've made it such that it's really not a lot of work that needs to be done, but it's just that thought. And so from the time that they came in as a prospect and they were really excited and really intrigued about wanting to, like, the idea of having a room that they could make their own, a space that they could make their own. And then they sort of count the cost of something. Well, they really weren't committed to the idea of doing it in the first place, right? And so I think checking commitment is something that is very important. The other thing I want to bring out too, like, and yes, it makes sense that, what you say in terms of a lot of individuals who you've heard speak or talk that have businesses and they make reference to God. That's a theme, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that makes sense to me is because running a business, starting a business, and there are a lot of other things, right? That in order to have success at that, it's bigger than you,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
so it stands to reason that anything that you want to have success in that is bigger than you,
Mm-hmm.
that you're gonna need outside help.
Yeah,
You're
from
gonna
a big
need
God. You preaching, Kenyon.
so and sometimes what it really comes down to, Black Genesis, is that um we have to surrender, and that is something that has to happen that is something that happens on a
Wow.
continuum. Like we have
Mm-hmm.
to be in a position and in a place of surrender, and a lot of times that's a very hard thing to do, because experiences have sort of shaped us and molded us in such a way to where it's like, well, I don't want to feel like I don't have control,
Right.
right? I got to do every single thing. And in fact, part of the reason why we were in a position to actually acquire this business is because the individual who actually started the network studios, the business has been around for over 11 years at that particular time. That was a very big struggle of his.
Yeah.
And, based on my previous experience as a consultant in the tech industry, I've seen a number of founders of business leaders that struggled with this idea of surrender. And again, if you struggle to do things in your personal life,
Yeah.
that's also going to be
Oh yeah.
reflected professionally.
Yeah.
And so whether that level of surrender is because you need to surrender to a higher power, surrender to God, or whether it's that you need to surrender to your loved ones, right? Like that is such a key component to
Mm-hmm.
having the success that you've seen others have and that we're looking to continue to build here.
This is getting good. What has been the biggest rewards of owning your own business?
Still to be determined. I am someone
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
again, I have vision. Um, you know, not only vision for my life, but obviously vision for this business, vision
Mm-hmm.
for this brand,
Mm-hmm.
and we're nowhere near, right,
I
where
heard
that
that.
is. So it's like the reward is just the gratitude of being able to come in every single day and do and help build other people's dreams,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I consider you to be a success story, and what I mean by that is again, there are a lot of people that come in with a whole lot of ambition, a whole
Mm-hmm.
lot of excitement about
Mm-hmm.
what they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and most people never come back in
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like it's too much, like that the work is too much, or they don't have time, or they make a number of excuses.
Yeah.
But when those individuals like yourself come in and say, hey, this is what I want to do,
Yeah.
I'm serious about it, but then they turn around and they actually do it,
Mm-hmm.
like to me, that's success,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Every single episode that is recorded in this studio, there is a reward in that, because
Yeah.
again, we are providing a service. We are helping people to live out their dreams,
Mm-hmm.
to live out their vision for their life, to walk in their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, on a micro level, I'm rewarded every single day, right? But if we're talking big picture, grand picture, we're not there yet. We're just scratching the surface. And so the important thing is you just, to keep working. And I think there's value in that. I think that there's a discipline, right? That it helps aid the discipline where, you're not just looking for that gratification,
Mm.
whatever that is, but that
Mm.
you stick to the vision of what you have for your life, or what your business is, or whatever your goal is. And you don't stop, you don't relent until you achieve it. And hopefully you're driving to go beyond that, because there's more. We got a great big world out here. We got a lot of people that's got a lot of needs. And for those of us who are in the know, who have a level of awareness, who have something to offer, something to give, there's always work to be done.
I just want to have this on camera. When you think about the network studios, what do you literally visualize? I know you said about franchising. Like, are you franchising like in California, or are you franchising like all 50 states? Is it 50 states? 51 states? 50 states.
50 states, yeah. Yeah, I definitely see the network studios in multiple locations across the country.
Mhm.
We will not cannibalize, so this will be the only location in Los Angeles. But yeah, I see that. But even more than that, what I see is I see that we are a powerhouse production company, that we are producing award-winning content again across all verticals. I see the New Sound Initiative, and I've told my partners this. I think ultimately the New Sound Initiative is going to be bigger than even the network
Come
studios,
on.
because the rewards from
Wow.
that is going to be the young people, the lives that we are able to touch, impact, and inspire, that are going to go on and do great things because of the experience that they had with the New Sound Initiative. And I won't take this time to talk about the in-depth vision of the New Sound Initiative, but it's bigger than just a curriculum that we're offering to
Yeah.
kids. And so, yeah, so when I think about the success of this brand, the Network Studios, yeah, it's something that is touching multiple locations across the country. But it is a brand that, again, in its most simplest form, it is serving each of the communities that it is in, but it is also providing a service to people, giving them an avenue to use their voice, to tell their stories, to share their creativity, to share their gifts with the world.
Mm. So when you open up the network studios in Texas, are you gonna have me run it, or do you have to talk to the guys?
Well, it depends on what city you're talking about.
When I move to Texas, I'm going to Houston.
Oh, you're going to Houston.
I'm going to Houston.
Houston's not necessarily on the roadmap, but it could be talked about. So I'll tell you, our franchising, our expansion plan is really connected to one of the partners that we have for the nonprofit. So I mentioned, we've got 5 or 6 different groups or organizations where that's how I reach kids. One of those organizations is an organization called Youth Guidance. They're the organization, the headquarters of the organization is out of Chicago, but essentially it's like a rite of passage program. They have 2 programs. It's called BAM, Becoming a Man, and then WOW, which is an acronym for Working on Women.
Wow.
And essentially they have counselors at different
Oh,
schools.
you see what I did there? Wow. I didn't do that on purpose. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm so clever.
They have counselors at schools across the country. So we have a very, that partnership between the New Sound Initiative and Youth Guidance is growing. Growing so much so to where each of the cities that we're actually going to expand to as the network studios is a city where BAM or WOW is already in, so that every city that we go to, we're not only, again, providing service through our studio, our service provider, but then we're also serving the community we already have a foothold in on that nonprofit side by virtue of the relationship that we have with Youth Guidance. So to your point, they're in Dallas. So
I was gonna say Dallas, but I wasn't sure you were. I was gonna say Dallas first, but I was trying to read your mind. Damn,
that's funny.
So when you guys are I wish I could just be a fly on the wall when y'all having these meetings and y'all talking, because how do you guys come up with this? Like, is it like all of you guys, or y'all are just like, nigga, I was thinking we should do this, and then it's like, boom, we do it. It's like that. I know. Okay. Okay. What challenges have you faced specifically as a Black entrepreneur?
I would say the biggest challenge that I currently face is raising capital. So I've met with a couple of VC hedge funds. I've had one private equity meeting because we're ready to grow, we're ready to expand,
Right.
and the vision that I have exceeds where we are right now. And so there comes a point where if you're trying to properly scale a business,
You need investors.
You need that capital infusion, right? And given the fact that this space, the new media industry, is a new space, there's plenty of data out there that showcases the potential of the podcasting industry, right? So, last year was a $4 billion industry, right? But as a Black man trying to have conversations with high net worth corporations, entities, or even people, and you're talking about something that is still relatively new to the market. There aren't many um success stories, right? That entities that are doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're still frontiersmen in that regard. So it was already going to be a challenge, but then you put this black face on it.
Yeah.
That you don't quite know how old I am.
Yeah.
Like, is he 25 trying to juice me? Or is he, like whatever, like
Right.
where do you come from? And you just know, right, that if I had the complexion for the protection,
Right.
that, things would be a
Right.
lot easier. So I would say, and a lot of times, and I think we all can speak to this, right? Like, racism or bias is something that is not always overt. A lot of
Right.
times it's very subliminal.
Yep.
But you can tell,
Yep.
right? And so, you just, again, navigate it like you navigate anything else. But I would say that is probably the biggest challenge. There are other things that happen that I could attribute to race that I know has something to do with my race, but I don't really see it as like, like I don't even pay attention to it.
Right.
An example of that could be sometimes people that come into the studio, right? And they see that it's a black man that runs it, or it's black owned, or whatever. And so then they have very low expectations.
Yeah.
And, you get the snide comments, or you just can feel the energy. And then after they have the experience and they see the experience is top notch, they see that, oh, this is somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, that's actually delivering value.
Right.
You can tell where their original starting point was, because there's an element of surprise or shock, like, oh, or hey,
and the audacity.
Hey, I just wanna say, man, I'm proud of you.
Right.
And it's just like,
Right.
so, but, again, to me, those aren't challenges. Those aren't things that if I were to just go off of my feelings or my emotions would throw me off or would make me feel away. Because again, I'm focused on something greater than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I would say that. So I definitely don't want to make it seem like I'm immune to the challenges that we know that black business owners face, that black people face, particularly in this country.
Yeah.
I face all of that, right? But do I put my face on that, or do I turn my face to the hills from whence? I just did that just to mess with you. But I'm serious at the same time.
No, seriously. I'll say the first time that I met you, literally, what I went and ran back and told my husband was, he's so professional. And one thing that's what stood out to me the most. And obviously, I don't give a damn if you're black, I'm black. But, and I wanted to come because you were black. But I just really was like, oh yeah, because black, white, green, blue, you run into people who have the business, but they're so unprofessional.
Yeah.
And I know
No
I
doubt.
do a lot of hip hoppity bop boppity when it's just me and you, but baby, I know how to, you know what I mean? I know how to turn it off. I know
absolutely.
how to, and there was just a real like, let's get to business, let's get to work. Are we doing this? Are we? But not in a sense of like it was still welcoming.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
no
It was
doubt.
welcoming, but it was very much so professional.
Yeah.
This is what we do. We're not playing any games.
Right.
Your stuff is going to be delivered on time, which it has. Your stuff is going to be quality, which it is. And I just really was like, I can't go anywhere else, because the moment I stepped foot in here, I saw my setup, I saw everything. But I'm a visionary myself, so I'm like, I gotta go where I feel like the Lord is putting me. But
and part of that is, it's the black tax, right? We got to do that. We don't have the luxury.
Right.
Even if the prospective customer or the customer is one of our own.
Yeah.
That's one. But two, again, it comes back to this element of customer service, right? Like that is really something that this brand will be known for, and in fact is known for.
Yeah.
Is like, and all customer service really is just a level of care.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I'm going to make sure that you have all the information that you need. I'm going to make sure that I clearly communicate and set expectations.
You're going to make sure you bring me my water every time.
That you don't drink. Because somehow I'm going to poison her. We're still praying for her. But yeah, so I mean, so that's absolutely a huge part of that. And there is a way, right, to have that gentleness, to have that, like you said, like not be off-putting,
Mm-hmm.
but still make it very clear, like, we are serious because
Mm-hmm.
we want you to know that we're going to take the work that you do
Yeah.
seriously. And this
Yeah.
is a very particular business that
Yeah.
like demands that, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go to a restaurant and see people like being whimsical or playing with my food
Right.
that I'm going to eat,
Right.
right? So if you're coming into a space where it's like,
Hibachi.
I'm in, if I'm trusting you, right, or if I'm trusting the network studios to like help me produce something that is meaningful to me and that I believe is necessary and offers value to the world,
Yeah.
then it needs to be that it is handled with care.
Yes.
So that's just, just doing what I feel like needs to be done.
What are some misconceptions people have about becoming their own boss?
We'll let Dame Dash tell it.
Child, let's not get started on his end.
I don't know. I don't necessarily. I could tell you, so I could answer that question just by like based off of like some personal conversations that I have with people that know me or that might be close to me, and it has everything to do with time, right? So it's just kind of like, oh, well, can you come to this thing? Or I want to go out and do this thing. And it's like, well, no, I can't because I got clients. Or, man, like, I called you this morning, you at the studio, it's like 11:30, you're still there. Well, yeah, because I got clients, or I got this, or I got that, like, and so I think, maybe a misconception is the fact that because you are your own boss, like, you
have leisure time.
You have leisure time, right?
Right.
No, it's actually the inverse of that. Because the reality is that being your own boss probably means, even if it's not at the beginning, at some point is going to mean that you have people that work for you.
Right.
So there are livelihoods that are depending on you. So if you stop or if you slack, then that's going to impact them.
Yep.
So now the level of care extends beyond just your clientele and your customers to the people that also work for you.
Yeah.
That you have convinced them of your vision and they believe in you and the dream and what it is that you're building. And so, yeah, you don't have the luxury of just coming and going as you please.
I knew you were going to say that. I put that question on here so that you could attest to that, because that is a big misconception.
It's people a big misconception.
Like, oh, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 because I don't want to be,
confined.
You're going to be more confined running your own shit if you're serious about it.
Exactly. And, not to be snide, but usually the people that like have questions or complaints about time are usually employees.
Yeah.
They might be well-paid employees.
Yeah.
Right? They may have people that report to them.
Yeah.
Other employees, but they are also an employee because that shouldn't be a question from a boss to a boss.
Okay. All right, Ricky Rose. Okay. Before I ask this question, are you an artist? Are you like a hidden rapper or writer?
No rapper. I mean, no. I'm gonna say no.
Do you sing sometimes in the shower?
Because
I was gonna ask how you balance the creative
I was
side
wondering
of your
what
business with the financial side.
So here at the network studios, what I like to do is I like to tell clients and even prospective clients, like, hey, if you want a really good show, you should probably, prepare your guests by providing questions. Alexis, Black Genesis, takes good notes and she applies them. And so
I sure do.
When I saw that question, I was like, I wonder what she means by that. I wasn't sure. But I am a writer, right? Like I said that we produce original content. I'm currently working on 2 scripted materials, a docuseries, several docuseries. Like, again, I was a client for the network studios before doing it. So I guess from that standpoint, you could say I'm a creative. I just, I know creative people, and I just don't put myself in that space.
You are a creative. If you're working on a script, some writers never get to their scripts. They have all the script ideas, but they never get to writing it. That's a big accomplishment if you're done with your script or even actively working on your script.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate that. And I mean, I think the real answer, I don't want to be known as the deep guy or your deep guest, but the reality is that we're all creatives because we come from the creator.
Period.
So,
all right, Pastor Kenyon.
So
Pastor Yon.
That balance between the creative and like, you know, making money or putting focus on the business. Well, I'm fortunate enough to where like they sort of coexist.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, okay, if you're working on your script or how do you have time to do that if you're always here with your clients?
Because you make time for that. And sometimes you have to be creative, right? So like, you know, I have a writing team. So sometimes they'll come to the studio if they're, you know.
Not a writing team. I'm an excellent writer.
And so, you know, you find ways, but it works. I mean, again, I've had a lot of practitioner experience. You know, I come from the tech industry where it's very much fast paced, very much results oriented. You know, they very much have a fail forward mentality.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that organization, a lot of that discipline, a lot of that being able to get the most out of the least, a lot of that skill set was honed within that. So I think when you take that combined with just, you know, being, you know, purpose driven, mission oriented, like you find ways to make these things happen.
How can we as a community better support Black owned businesses?
Love the question. So first of all, educate yourself, do the research, which I mean, this is something that, you know, is applicable no matter what we're talking about, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And to that end, right, especially because our attention spans are so short and because there's so many things that are competing for our attention, as a society, just in general, right, we look for instant gratification. And it's kind of like, if I can't find something in 1 or 2 clicks, then I'm off of it, right? But, and so one is you have to actually set intention to want to actively support Black business.
Yes.
Right? It can't just be a fad. It can't just be a trend. It can't just be something, because anything that is a fad or a trend passes and it fades. So if we're really talking about really wanting to invest and support in Black business, that has to be your intention. And then intention is what will drive you and be the fuel for you to do the research, right? But then that third piece of it is have grace.
I'm so glad you said it, because I was going to say it if you didn't say it. Absolutely.
Is have grace. And it's not that we are lowering our expectations, but it is that, go ahead.
No, because I was going to say that because I am a stickler about supporting Black businesses. I'm not one of those people that's like, I only support Black business. I support all businesses. But I do try to put my money with, you know, Black-owned businesses. But I noticed that when I am patronizing or utilizing the services of a Black-owned business, I am very careful to implement grace, because when we, and I don't want to just put this on Black people, I'm going to say everybody, when we utilize the services or patronize non-Black owned businesses, they could fuck up our order, they could be rude to us, they could just, you know, give us a shitty product, and we will either ignore it and keep it pushing and still patronize them, or we'll be like, well, I'm not gonna, you know, mess with them anymore. But when Black people,
they come in with the, like I just said, they start with low expectations.
Yeah.
So then when you exceed the expectations, sometimes, because I hate generalizations, right? But sometimes they're so shocked by it that then their bias comes out.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
And so when we are talking about grace, sometimes the grace is just as simple as have the same expectations for, and have the same openness, the same whatever you want to call it for the Black business that you would have for any other business.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, especially in this country, right, the resources that are available to non-Black business, right, they can correct those things. They can make adjustments. They have whatever it takes, be it funding, capital, whatever, to improve the experience.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those Black owned businesses don't have those
Yeah.
same resources.
Yeah.
And so, yes, they may not get everything right.
Mhm.
They may not have all of the things all of the time,
Mhm.
but have that context, have that
Yeah.
perspective
Yeah.
when walking in. And that's what's going to help the business,
Yes.
right, to elevate. At the same time, Black businesses, Black business owners, and those who work for Black businesses
Do better.
have the humility,
Yeah,
right?
right,
And the
right.
accountability,
Right.
right? So in those moments when you do fall short, you can receive the feedback, or
Mhm.
you can receive it, because no business thrives without feedback.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the end of the day, if a business is not in tune with what their customers are thinking or feeling or what their experiences are, that's going to be a business that's not going to be around for very
Right.
long. You show me a product that's being put to the market where there isn't any sort of feedback loop that is in place, and I will show you a product that is not going to be on the market for long, right? So there's work to be done on both sides so
Mhm.
that the community, right, can effectively support Black business
Wow.
on both the patron side as well as the provider side. But I'm 100% with you on the grace. But I
Yeah.
think the grace, right, is a byproduct of intention.
Yeah.
Just like the research is a byproduct of the intention. We've
Yeah.
got to get to a place where we move beyond words.
Yeah.
Where actually our hearts are into the things that we say that we want to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
That's where change and that's where real impact comes.
My heart is in this. And I'm an excellent writer. I mean, I know you don't know really. You just see me doing this podcast, talking shit with my friends, but I am a phenomenal writer.
I believe that.
And I mean, I would just kill on a writing team. Last question. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start their own business but feels stricken with fear?
Fear. You probably know the answer to this, or you know what I'm going to say.
Look to the hill. No.
That's funny. Fear and faith can't coexist.
Okay.
Right? And it's a Bible verse that I'm going to quote, but it's actually the definition of faith. But faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen.
Mhm.
So you are going to need faith,
Mhm.
especially if you don't have the complexion for the protection
Right.
and you're in this country.
I'm gonna start using it.
There are going to be elements of your vision. There are going to be elements of your plan that you can't see, that might seem beyond you, right? And you know, the only reason why fear exists, particularly within this context, is because you don't want to fail. You don't want to be
Right.
seen as a failure.
Right.
But again, if you were gonna bat 1,000, if you were gonna get 100% on every test, you would already be successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's a nice way to put it.
accept the fact that you're human. Put yourself and give yourself the best chance to be successful. I have found that what reduces fear or totally eliminates it is preparation.
Wow, Pastor Kenyon, yes.
Do the homework, do the research, ask questions, be curious.
Yeah.
Don't act like you have it all figured out.
Right.
Don't just live in an echo chamber. Surround yourself with people that are just going to cheer you on.
Right.
You know, you gotta, have some people in your life that you trust, that, can poke holes in your idea. And the most important thing is do it, right?
Wow.
Like the way you're going to grow your business is, so I say this all the time, and it's funny because, and Black Genesis will attest to this, that I use this analogy. The same questions that need to be answered in order to know what it is or what the secret is to create good content are the same questions that need to be answered when you want to start a business. Who is your target audience and what is your value proposition? Your target audience cannot be everybody, right? You have to earn the right to be all things to all people. So, and the power in being targeted and being focused in who your audience is, in your niche audience, is that they can become your early adopters that help you to generate momentum that will then allow you to expand your audience.
Wow.
But then once you have that piece down, what's your value proposition? It's okay if you got an idea to open up a burger joint, but how is your burger joint going to be different than Five Guys, Burger King,
Right.
McDonald's, and In-N-Out, right? And that's going to come with research, right? And then you have to validate that research, right? So you can have a hypothesis, you can have an idea, but once you identify your target audience, then you need to take that idea and you need to validate that what you think or what you think your value proposition is or why you think your idea is good is actually good for that target
Right.
audience. So again, all of that is about preparation. And the more prepared you are, you will find that the fear reduces. And then for that little bit of fear that might be left over, because again, we just, who wants to fail? Like who wants to fall short after, having a level of humility that says that, hey, I might fall short on some things. I might miss on some points, but it's not a loss, it's a lesson. So what do you learn from the mistakes that you make? What do you learn from the quote unquote failures? But then there's going to be that faith that you're going to need to have. And then you just got to make a choice at that point. Either you're going to choose to believe or you're going to choose to be paralyzed and gripped by fear. And the choice is yours.
I don't know about other podcasts, but I'll tell you one thing. I love Podcast 1001.
It's a great show. I'm super proud of you. And I mean this. I'm
Thank
super
you.
proud of you. I'm
Thank
not
you.
just saying it because you're a client of the network studios. Again, you were intentional. You were focused about wanting to do this, knowing that this is something that you needed to do, and you acted upon it, and you are producing it. You are actually doing it. And so, you got to do the thing to get the power.
And I went viral on TikTok today. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
I'm going to tag you.
You're going to tag
I'm
me.
not
Well,
joking.
you're not going to find me on TikTok,
You're
but
on TikTok?
no.
No.
Funny enough that I'm in this business and do this, but I'm
That's so crazy.
very much social media. Like, I
Yeah.
recognized it when I was in college. Like, yo, this is not going to be good. It's good if you have a message. It's good if
Yeah.
you have things to promote and if you
Yeah.
know how to do it. I know how to do all the things, but I just don't I don't think so much of myself that people care about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I go to who I'm sent to.
Yeah.
I go to who I'm called.
Yeah.
It's a tool, and it's a
Yeah.
tool that, has value, but I'm not on it like that. So like TikTok,
Yeah.
no, but I'm happy to hear that. And
Yeah.
I'm also not surprised because again, you have moved with intention. And so, I look for Podcast 1001 and all the other content that you're going to create and all the other things that you're going to do to
Yeah.
continue to spring forth because it's your time. It's
Thank
your
you,
season.
Kenyon.
So, and I mean that.
Thank you.
So, thank you for having me on here. Any other questions? This didn't feel like an interview. It felt more like you were asking me a question and then I give like this verbose answer and then you just be
didn't-
like,
It didn't feel like an interview. It felt like I was sitting down learning from you. I don't give a fuck what they think. I don't even give a fuck what this video does I was like, yeah, Kenyon, this is good.
That's
I
what-
love that.
Yeah, but we wanted to be more conversational.
Yeah,
but no,
yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
this was awesome. So
Thank you. This has been Podcast 1001. This was Kenyon Aites, everybody. 1/4 owner of the Network Studios. Owner of the New Sound
the
Initiative.
New Sound Initiative.
And I'm just so happy about just what you're doing here and what
Thank
I'm
you.
doing here. And yeah, we're gonna see you guys for season 2 very soon. So thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, share to my YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, and a couple others I can't mention or think about right now. So yeah, see you soon.
We'll never play. Ain't got time for the games after the pay. Here in LA.